from our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Our top story for today. In a revealing 60 Minutes interview, former State Department officials criticized America's role in the devastation of Gaza. Hala Radet, who was the first American diplomat to resign in protest of U.S. policies, shared accounts of ignored warnings and gruesome evidence, including U.S.-made bombs linked to mass casualties. Radet alleged that her reports were suppressed, describing an incident where colleagues dismissed images of starving children. Ex-State Department official Josh Paul also highlighted the unchecked flow of U.S. weapons to Israel following the October 7, 2023 attacks. Meanwhile, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Andrew Miller condemned Israel's use of U.S.-supplied 2,000-pound bombs on densely packed civilian areas. The U.S. has supplied more than $17.9 billion in military aid to Israel, with more planned, despite rising death tolls in Gaza. Israel has killed over 46,000 Palestinians since October 2023, most of them being women and children. Human rights groups have labeled Israel's actions as genocide. 13 U.S. officials have resigned in protest, underscoring growing dissent over United States complicity in Israel's violations.
What is happening in Gaza would not be able to happen without U.S. arms. That's without a doubt. In one incident, I was basically berated, don't put that image in there. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see that the children are starving to death.
Israel has killed at least 61 Palestinians and injured 281 others in intense airstrikes across Gaza in the last 24 hours, the Palestinian Health Ministry reports. True strikes in Deir al-Bala killed 2 women and 4 children, one as young as 1 month old. A pregnant woman among the victims lost her unborn baby, according to Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital. In Khan Yunis, 12 people were killed in separate airstrikes, the European hospital confirmed. Israeli forces also struck a tent sheltering displaced families near Nosedives refugee camp, killing 2 Palestinians and critically injuring 1 woman. Israeli airstrikes also hit Jabalia refugee camp, killing 1 and injuring others near Farouk Mosque. In Rafah, Israel killed 4 civilians in an attack on a vehicle, while emergency teams recovered a body near a mosque in Khirbat al-Adas. Central Gaza faced devastating Israeli strikes, with 3, including a young girl, killed near Baptist Hospital. Witnesses reported schools and shelters for displaced civilians targeted in Jabalia and Al-Daraj. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 46,645 Palestinians and wounded 110,012 since October 7, 2023. In November 2024, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. The U.S. says a Gaza ceasefire could be finalized this week, marking a potential breakthrough in Israel's 15-month war against Palestinians. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan expressed cautious optimism, highlighting narrowing gaps between Hamas and Israel on prisoner exchanges, troop withdrawals, and humanitarian aid arrangements. The proposed agreement, which is being mediated by Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S., includes a 3-phase plan. It involves a 42-day humanitarian phase, prioritizing the release of 33 Israeli prisoners, including women, the elderly, and the ill, in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Details reveal that for each Israeli female soldier released, 50 Palestinian prisoners would be freed, including those serving long sentences. Subsequent phases focus on broader negotiations for remaining prisoners and long-term plans for Gaza's reconstruction. The deal includes provisions for displaced Palestinians to return to northern Gaza with international oversight on security checks. Meanwhile, Hamas demands a permanent ceasefire and Israel's withdrawal from key areas, including the Philadelphia corridor. Israel seeks a temporary truce and expanded buffer zones. President Joe Biden is hoping to secure the deal before his term ends on January 20th, viewing the agreement as a critical achievement of his time in office. Observers say the additional threat of a policy shift under incoming President Donald Trump has added urgency to the talks. House Republicans have introduced a bill to allow President-elect Donald Trump to enter into potential negotiations with Denmark to acquire Greenland. Called the Make Greenland Great Again Act, the bill was introduced by Republican Representative Andy Ogles. The draft bill authorizes the president to seek to enter into negotiations to acquire Greenland. Last week, Trump declined to rule out the use of military force to take control of the Panama Canal and Greenland. Trump earlier told reporters Panama and Greenland are necessary for economic security. Outrage is brewing as reports claim President-elect Donald Trump and GOP lawmakers may tie California wildfire aid to raising the debt ceiling. Wildfires in Los Angeles have destroyed homes, schools, and businesses, leaving more than 20 dead and thousands homeless. Experts warn that these fires could become the costliest in U.S. history. Politico reports that Trump and nearly 24 Republicans discussed linking fire relief to debt ceiling talks at a recent Mar-a-Lago dinner. Critics, including Working Families Party leader Joe Dinkin, slammed the plan as outrageous and urged Republicans to reject it. Speaker Mike Johnson, on the other hand, confirmed the talks but faces internal GOP divisions over the debt limit. Fiscal hawks previously blocked legislation to raise it. While Congress recently approved disaster relief funding, California's devastation may require more aid. Democrats and some Republicans are opposed to linking responses to wildfires to the debt ceiling. The nation's borrowing authority runs out mid-January, which observers say adds urgency to the debate. The scientific community is sounding the alarm as Donald Trump prepares to return to power, warning of potential setbacks to climate and public health policies. More than 50,000 scientists and advocates, led by the Union of Concerned Scientists, sent a petition to Congress urging lawmakers to protect science and resist anti-science cabinet nominees. The petition highlights Trump's past rollbacks on environmental regulations, including weakening the Environmental Protection Agency's authority and repealing water and air quality rules. Scientists fear a repeat of Trump's first term, with proposals to gut emission standards and undermine federal agencies like the Food and Drug Administration and the EPA. The petition calls on lawmakers to reject unqualified nominees, prevent budget cuts that weaken agencies, and defend vital safeguards like the Clean Air and Clean Water Acts. It stresses that silencing science risks public health, economic stability, and climate progress. Explosive report exposes Trump's 2020 election tactics. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back. A report released today from Special Counsel Jack Smith has revealed President-elect Donald Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The document accuses Trump of pressuring officials, orchestrating fraudulent electoral schemes, and undermining democratic institutions. It highlights Trump's attempts to retain power, including forcing then Vice President Mike Pence to bow to his demands and manipulating Justice Department officials. Smith's findings expose a pattern of deceit, with Trump's team allegedly misleading electors and blocking witnesses. Trump's re-election in 2024 halted the investigation as Justice Department policy prohibits prosecuting a sitting president. Judge Eileen Cannon allowed the release of the document. However, she blocked a related volume on classified documents, citing ongoing trials of Trump's co-defendants. Cannon has set a hearing for Friday on whether the department can release classified documents to lawmakers. Trump dismissed the report, calling it politically motivated. He claimed vindication, saying the voters have spoken. Special Counsel Smith resigned after transmitting the report. Analysts say it marks the end of a turbulent investigation into one of America's most contentious political periods. The Biden administration has proposed new rules to control the export of advanced artificial intelligence chips. It says the move is due to national security concerns. The rules aim to restrict cutting-edge technology within the U.S. and its allies while limiting access in 120 countries. These include Israel, Mexico, and Portugal. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo stressed the need to protect AI advancements and prevent foreign enemies from exploiting them. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan highlighted the focus on developing AI in the U.S. and with key allies. However, industry groups have raised alarms. They say the new rules could disrupt global supply chains and disadvantage American companies. The Semiconductor Industry Association criticized the rushed timing before the transition to President-elect Donald Trump on January 20th. Observers say the move underscores growing tensions between security priorities and economic interests in the AI era. California's wildfires have forced more than 150,000 people to evacuate, with tens of thousands more in warning zones. Amid the crisis, landlords have been accused of illegal rent hikes, leaving displaced families struggling to find temporary housing. State Attorney General Rob Bonta revealed reports of landlords and hotels raising prices by more than 10%, violating state laws against price gouging. Governor Gavin Newsom has issued emergency orders to curb illegal price hikes on essential services, including rent, storage, and groceries, effective until January 2026. Real estate listings show rents across Los Angeles rising by nearly 20% since the fires began. Violators face up to 1 year in jail or $10,000 fines. Authorities urge the public to report price gouging immediately. Syrians forced to migrate due to years of siege and intense attacks by the ousted regime of former President Bashar al-Assad have begun to return to their homes. Anadolu news agency has documented such a return from the Jobar village of the Syrian capital Damascus, which was reduced to rubble due to war. Its buildings are in ruins and residents were forbidden to return or rebuild for more than a decade. Assad, Syria's leader for nearly 25 years, fled to Russia after anti-regime groups took control of Damascus on December 8th, ending his family's decades-long rule. A new administration led by Ahmed al-Shara has now taken charge. Billionaire Elon Musk's reputation in the UK has taken a sharp hit, a YouGov Times poll reveals. 71% of Britons now view Musk unfavorably, in a 7-point rise since November. Those with a very unfavorable opinion have soared to 55%, up by 14 points. Positive opinions remain low at just 20%. Notably, 69% of Britons distrust Musk on child abuse issues, with 57% saying they don't trust him at all. Musk has drawn criticism for remarks on grooming gangs and claims about government cover-ups sparking backlash. His support among Reform UK voters also waned, despite 51% still holding favorable views. The billionaire's anti-migrant and Islamophobic rhetoric, along with support for far-right figures, has fueled debate on foreign influence and social media's impact. Musk's comments targeting PM Keir Starmer and Reform UK leader Nigel Farage also have deepened the controversy. Security forces in Somalia have launched a major operation in the semi-autonomous state of Puntland against ISIS terrorists. According to the country's Sana news agency, security forces have killed 20 suspected terrorists in the Bari region's mountainous area. The operation targeted presumed terrorist hideouts in Al-Miskad Mountains, which is a stronghold area for ISIS in Somalia's northeastern Bari province. Puntland's counterterrorism operation said foreigners were among those killed and that security forces captured 4 terrorist bases. The offensive followed the successful repulsion of a December 31st ISIS attack where militants used a vehicle-borne IED to target a military base. Somalia has long faced insecurity, primarily from the Al-Shabaab and ISIS groups. A Unicef report reveals more than 473 million children lived in conflict-affected areas in 2023, with numbers likely rising in 2024. That's 1 in 6 children globally and double the percentage since the 1990s. The report warns of increasing threats to children's lives, rights, and well-being. Climate change has added to the burden, with children under 5 bearing 88% of its global health impact. Economic hardships also have worsened the crisis. More than 40 low-income countries spend twice as much on debt servicing as on health, which affects millions of children. UNICEF highlights the potential of digital public infrastructure to improve access to education, healthcare, and social protection. The report calls for stronger systems, disaster resilience, and global unity to protect children's futures. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.